What's up, Crypto Familia? I'm Pablo Chuco. Thank you very much for joining this, checking this out. Very happy to be here with you on this lovely Sunday. First of all, first and most importantly, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, all the mommies. Uh, you're what keeps the world spinning and keeps us all out of trouble, you know? Anyway. Yeah, my mother's no longer with us, but she definitely was one of the bravest, most amazing people I ever knew. She was just kind of a lightning rod for wisdom. She would just check your mood and in one sentence set you straight. I think, she just always had like these little sayings too that were incredibly pertinent to anything. I remember one time we were just, driving from A to B, and she looked at me and she said, "True or false? Honesty is the best policy." And I looked at her, I was like, "Well, true." And she said, "Wrong. It's false." She said, "Honesty is the only policy." And so, yeah, my mom had her struggles, but that's the kind of person she was. She was an incredibly strong person. All right. So yeah, just a few things I kind of wanted to talk about before we get into some charts. And today, just to let you know, we are going to go over Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and but I am going to try to like give some shorter term stuff, like go to zoom into the 15th, maybe even the 5 and the 1 if we need to. See if we can find some immediate levels. Crank out as many as we can today so that way, because we did just have the weekly close on Bitcoin, and just so that way, we're prepared for the week. But yeah, so I was, I'm always scrolling through Twitter looking for DGen stuff and just, getting a general idea of, what people who are doing similar things are up to, and I came across this. So yeah, this is Roaring Kitty. I don't know if you guys know who Roaring Kitty is, but he's essentially the hero, the motherfucking legend that initiated the squeeze on GameStop and then AMC. Yeah, and then he pretty much just freely shared that information with everybody, and a lot of people made money on it. That was also what initiated Robinhood just turning off the machines on everybody. And yeah, yeah, yeah. I was around during that. That kind of also led to things like Doge becoming popular. It was around all of that same time. But Roaring Kitty really, to me, in my mind, was he started the whole thing. He started the wave of retail investors in general, not just to crypto, but to stocks because he was a stock trader. Um, but yeah, so he posted this. This is his first post in almost 3 years, guys. And I remember I was just scrolling through it, and I was like, well, okay, wow, that's a post from Roaring Kitty, right? I remember that guy, and I hadn't heard from him for a while, but I was also away from Twitter for a few years too. I was like, that's fucking cool, And then the little meme of when shit gets real in a game, when you're sitting back just casually playing, but maybe you hit a boss and you're almost there, and whatever, you know what I mean? The battle's getting close, like you lean forward and you're just ready to fucking rock and roll and finish this shit, or something caught your attention, right? But yeah, so I kind of look. I was like, hell yeah, this is cool. And then was going through YouTube stuff earlier and saw that the Masked Investor had posted like an emergency video about the return of Roaring Kitty, and I watched it and I realized this is actually how significant it is. So what TMI brought up was that he had noticed that the AMC with chart was just looking about as good as it could possibly look, right? So I do have my little stock section. I haven't checked in a long time. I used to keep track of this. Last time I looked at AMC, it was probably like $4 and some change, which in the grand scheme of things, is pretty low, right? But now, I mean, we're bottomed. Low 238, current price at 291. Um, the high 393.63. I mean, damn, y'all. So we'll just measure that for funsies. We're not going to go too in depth of this because TMI, who I do trust, especially when it comes to stocks, the dude knows what he's talking about. Um, he said to keep an eye on this. That even just the chart itself, was something that you need to keep an eye on. But I mean, that's almost 11,000% to ATH. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but this might be another like potential hardcore short squeeze coming, and I can't think of any other reason that Roaring Kitty would suddenly just out of nowhere return. There was something I saw earlier though that I did want to point out real fast, and maybe this is what he was looking at. I can't remember. I should have written this down. Yeah, I mean, if anything, we got that little bottoming pattern. I mean, it's just gotten beaten down. It's already below its all-time low. But maybe, oh, that's what it was this. Was maybe he was just kind of seeing a little bit of a double bottom. I'm sure he's seen something else because that guy keeps an eye on open interest and stuff like that on a level that I don't understand. I don't trade stocks. Kind of a little bit weary of the after hours trading thing. And then TMI also said that if you see this convincingly push, I think it was like 19 in the upper 19s, but basically he rounded it off to 20. But if you see this convincingly, push over 20, that it was probably going to rocket. And just for your knowledge, in case you weren't aware, I know a lot of people are wary of Cash App. I've been using it for years, works for me. Um, so you can buy both AMC and GameStop on Cash App, and on not only that, but I'm 99% sure you can actually set like actual limit orders and everything like that. So if you're gonna do that and you've never traded stocks before, I would highly suggest just learning, what the difference between them having after hours trading is, because it just feels like a good time. Because I think they get like an extra 4 hours or 2 hours after and 2 hours before, some shit like that, and it just feels like a good way to like manipulate the market and rinse people who don't have access to those hours. That's why I love crypto. It's 24/7, 7 times a week, twice on Sunday, baby. All right, yeah. So that, yeah, Roaring Kitty apparently is back. I don't know. That's crazy. Um, yeah. Next up, and this is definitely not financial advice, but there are always people looking for a couple of degen plays, super low cap coins. This may have already been beat to the ground because it's definitely, since I looked at it, gone further down. But it's Cholo Cat. I kind of like it. It's because it's a Cholo Cat. Got a lot of friends who are Cholos. Look at these little homies. Hell yeah, bro. Órale, carnales. Look at these little cats. These little gatitos. They're fucking badass. Um, but yeah, there's their little web page, super simple, nothing fancy. The coin information is here. Their Twitter. It's got some engagement. The only reason I didn't ape into this, y'all, and I'm pretty sure it's going to zero. It looks like it probably is, but there is some engagement here. I mean, they did get up to 300,000 market cap, and it's sitting at 72K. So again, I'm only even showing this because I like the Cholo Cat. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, the one reason that because I was like, all right, cool, I'm down with the Spurs. Those are my boys. Super excited about Wemby and finally having a team around him. But the dude is a freak of nature. So they had, a Spurs and Wemby video that they kind of hacked into because they put Cholo Cat in the crowd, which is pretty cool. Um, where was it? The only problem I'm having right now with it is that they based Dev in Cowboys fan, and sorry guys, Texans for life. I can't do the Cowboys. But anyway, there's Cholo Cat. Never know when some shit like that's gonna catch, and that one sort of caught my eye. I just kind of like the premise of it. And then the other one I wanted to bring up to everybody's attention is Morjan Freemoon. This is one of the ones that's kind of tacking on to the whole polyfi thing a little bit. Um, but first of all, there is a very large organization who is shilling this. They're sponsored by them, but they are shilling it, so there's a little bit of a boost there. But this is an actual meme coin with a little bit of utility. It does have an AI function that I believe helps people launch their own projects, like their own coins and stuff like that, like really easy. Um, and it's Morgan Freeman, Moon. I mean, ever since Safe Moon, I've always been a little bit weary of coins that's either say Safe or Moon. But this does have some hype building around it. They were on an episode today about like pure meme coins with some guys who were credible in that arena. It wasn't just with his shoes acting like he knew. But yeah, they've got a decent little website. Oh, and that's the other thing is it launches tomorrow, 16 hours from now. Don't know what the starting because I think I looked through this and it doesn't actually give you, but it's 100 billion supply, so be aware of that. Um, I have a feeling that affects the ability of the price to go up. I could be wrong about that. I need to do some research into actual like Mooncoin math. Pre-sale 50%, pretty big one, right? So probably some, I don't know, it just depends on who's holding those, but that might be a pretty gnarly sell off. But there's just a lot of coin. If I was gonna ape in either of these two, it would be this one. But get your money, guys. In general, just don't fall in love with coins. For me, ultimately, I'm just all about getting to a point where I'm literally stacking as much Bitcoin as I possibly can in the long term, and everything else is just for trading. That's my goals. Because even some of these projects that last cycle, or even over the last since the last year or two, kind of losing their utility because there's just a lot of innovation coming out, right? So don't fall in love with coins. You're at best Bitcoin and some Ethereum, because people are kind of stacking their money there. And the other one, which actually, perfect little segue here, would be for me a good store of value, right? Would be Litecoin. So what I was doing today, just to kind of get an idea of what was going on and where we might find something that still has some juice left, because going to say the Bitcoin chart will give you an idea on the monthly, will give you an idea pretty much where I went through all these guys. I found one that was not the same. How do I still have this on? All right. Um, which yeah. So on the monthly, see, look, it's topped. It's got a red dot flashing that could literally, I mean, we still have what 18 days and 22 hours till the end of the month. This convincingly crossing bearish, right? So that's pretty much what everything looks like. So if there's anything that I found so far, because I do need to add a ton of coins to this. At one point, I just cleared everything off. Is that Litecoin, on the other hand, is looking to retest midline, right? but not way up here coming down. It's actually coming from below. And sometimes, it does kind of counter the market at times. I have seen that happen. And it does get some pretty nice pushes for that matter too when it does. Um, but also the RSI, it's over mid. You want it to hold there because the rest, and then the rest of the market really does look in the longer term that, we are going to continue a little bit in more of a downtrend, right? But Litecoin has a little, looks like it might have a little bit of juice in the tank, guys. And if we see it, then the machines see it. You feel me? All right. Let's see here. Let me just check my little list here, make sure I got everything. Yeah. All right. So yeah, Bitcoin, obviously. So yeah, again, see, look at that. Bitcoin, what I'd like to do first is head back over to our Bitcoin TA section, right? Like we have one specifically for Bitcoin TA in our Skim the Cream Crypto Discord. Join it. Some really smart people in there. Some really, really cool people in there too. So I've been watching this because I kind of sensed a little bit of at least a little bit of a relief pump coming up. I didn't, I'm not expecting much because like I'm saying, we're in downtrend until we aren't. We've been in a pretty aggressive one over the last few months now. So there's really and there's really no reason to expect that we're just gonna like blast off from here any at all, right? Like, yeah, news wise, macro wise, like it's all just kind of pointing down, correct? No problem there, right? We can catch it going both ways when we know what we're doing. But started here on this 15-minute chart, and it was immediately after this move here, right? Because you're always looking, there's generally some kind of recovery going from here. And so I basically pointed out that we had failed the point of control. That normally, what does happen normally is that we would come down to the value area low. It may not happen right away, but that's the next major level that we are going to hit, and that's at 59,150. Um, and of course, pointed out these are super local levels. I pulled these fibs on a it was on the 15-minute chart, just basically giving you your support, your overall golden pocket, where it was probably going to work itself out a little bit before it made another move, and then the lower side of this box, which would be the 618 retrace extension. Okay, top is the 786, just for review, and this one is up here. I think it's like at 62,800 or so. Um, Anticipating that we were going to at least try to push towards these levels. I was doubtful about it too because just it's just looking like it looked weak. Everything looked weak, but I did see a little bit of possibility in it, and this is typically how this pattern plays out. That was posted May 10th at 1:40, so over 2 days ago, right? Then yesterday at 8:30 a.m., because I wake up, put some coffee on, and look at the Bitcoin charts right away. Bullish divergence I mentioned on stream last night is now confirmed on the 3i. So yeah, we were tracking a bullish divergence between market cipher B and the actual price, and there's a 3 hour one right there, and I think I first noticed it on the 1 hour and just was kind of tracking it, right? Um, got that, saw it on the 3 hour chart that morning, so that was yesterday 8:30 a.m. And then let's see, and then posted an update on a more zoomed in chart on the 15-minute, saying that it looked like we were probably going to push into that red box, which is what's called a dead cat bounce because it does it, typically, well, you're looking for it to confirm over these next levels and blast off, right? But given we've already failed a point of control, um, odds are we'll probably head a little bit lower after this push and not going to beat this level. But yeah, so posted on the 15-minute yesterday at 8:30 a.m. that we were looking, on the indicators because of those divergences, that we were looking that we were going to start at least pushing that red box, and it took long. motherfucking time. And then yesterday at 10:04 a.m., so just a couple of hours later. I'm telling you, I'm always watching this though, but like we're about to confirm this bullish divergence also on the 6 hour, which we did end up doing. We did end up doing. And then today at 10 a.m., yeah, because we did end up getting the green dot with the divergence, right? And look where price was at that point. Had pushed a little bit, but was still, a little ways away. And then at that point, all I was waiting for, there was no divergences on the 12 hour. I'll show you right now. But there's nothing. Oh, here it is. You can see it right here. It's the same, right? Here's the low. Here's the next low. It's not sloping any different. It's exactly the same thing. So this is where the divergence has ceased being, right? This is where we finally have some normal price action. But what I was waiting for was a green dot to start flashing because that meant that 6 hour divergence and going on down, right, was going to start playing itself out. Like, or it already had, obviously, but like that 6 hour was about to start coming into play. So we got that green dot. That was my last post. So tracking this whole move for about 2 days now. And let's see. On the 12 hour. All right, so let's work our way down. We know the monthly, we're screwed. Yeah. The monthly is just, it's looking like it's ready. The weekly, on the other hand, and this is really like my main thesis for being a little bit more bullish than bearish. Not a lot, you know what I mean? We could still come up and test these highs a little bit and fail them. There's other local levels that we will go over in a second that we could still fail and be in downtrend. But this has been pointing down. Hold on, let me make this a little bigger. Like it didn't have any signs of catching until the weekly close today. Now, look, it hasn't crossed bullish yet, but it is showing a little bit of signs of catching here. So, this may exert some upward pressure on Bitcoin and the rest of the market, and this is a little bit longer term strength here, right here. You know what I mean? So that puts me in a little bit more of a bullish short term to maybe midterm. I don't think we're gonna blast off or anything like that because that monthly is gonna kill us. But we might be due for some upward gains here. That's all I'm saying. Today, which we were tracking this whole 1 2 3 thing was kind of it ended up forming what an inverse head and shoulders, right? Bam, 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 headed up. Let me minimize this a little bit and let's take a look at my market cipher. Yeah, just normal price action. Money flow still positive. VWAP, not pointing down so much. It's flattening out. May come up to retest mid. But this is also coming from below here. You know what I mean? Both Market Cipher and RSI are showing that, that's ready. It's got some juice in the tank. The 1 day, now we all know this. Here's what's okay. Let's start with the bearish partial. The 1 day is the most bearish looking thing to me. Like money flow just recently came out, and is negative. If you zoom in, eh, sort of like flattening out, like it's not going to go any further. But the momentum wave looks like it might catch here. And here's the best thing about this, right? Is that this may end up being an inverse head and shoulders on market cipher. And if this catches, it won't necessarily be a divergence between this and this and this and this, right? They're both angled up, trending up. But we got that's a decent momentum wave to the bottom, right? Not as deep as you want to get them for a good recovery necessarily, but it's sizable. Then we got this, which ended up below these both of these lines here on Market Cipher. So there's a decent, what could be these anchor wave and another anchor wave, right? So a double anchor wave, you want to put it that way, with the possibility of a trigger wave forming from here. Feel the VWAP. It's trying to, God dang it. It's trying to get up to that midline right here. And also kind of beating this level here. So maybe some signs of turnaround there. Super healthy triple bottom there. Um, I'll be keeping an eye out for a green dot on the daily because we did just finish the one that was on the 12 hour. That move has happened already, so we're now we're on the daily chart, waiting for a green dot to start printing. But yeah, look, 12 hour, it's looking, money flow does need to come up, guys. But look, the VWAP, which is our leading indicator, right, is already over mid. It may rumble around and retest. It could fail, don't get me wrong, but this is also a good sign. Anytime that this is anything on this is positive, it's positive, but especially the VWAP because that is your leading indicator. 6 hour, here's that divergence, right? Angling down, angling up. Now, that divergence was on a few time frames. All right. The one difference, and we'll start here at the 3 hour. Okay. So this in terms of that divergence and where it's playing out and where it has some juice left. All right. To me, and if there's any market cipher like experts out there, please correct me on this. But here we've already crossed positive. Not that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That means that we're in uptrend on the 3 hour, right? With the money flow kind of coming up a little bit, like it's trying. VWAP kind of flattening out instead of looking like it's going to slam down to the midline for now, at least. Um, but on the 4 hour, we're just coming. Yeah, we're just barely getting over mid here. All right, which would mean that money flow necessarily, like at this point, it does kind of look like money flow is going to stay positive on the 4 hour. I know that RSI is overbought. However, it could stay up here for a minute. It's not against the rules. Look at, I'm not being hopium. I'm just saying that it does happen. And then on the 6 hour, I mean, we've just got room to go. It's coming up, and the 6 hour did have that divergence. So if I'm understanding what I do know about market cipher, this whole thing should come up to test zero. And given that we just had the green dot on the 12 hour, we're looking a little bit bullish, guys. I'm not saying we're gonna even be and okay, yeah. So let's zoom in a little bit, right? Let's get down to. They're like, oh my God, is Pablo actually saying that something bullish right now? Yeah, a little bit. I'm just saying relief pump, right? I'm calling the dead cat bounce so far, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we zoom in. This is normal price action. There's no divergences between this top and this top here, which is good. It's just normal price action. Money flow is, I mean, kind of even pointing up here. The VWAP's coming down, but yeah, we'll see. It could catch here. I mean, it doesn't go much further lower than, I mean, much more low than that very often. 45, and then we'll just kind of go backwards and tell the story. So VWAP still kind of pointing down there. Money flow still positive. And again, just to review, we're at money flow being positive on the 4 hour. I know it's some crazy, it's some crazy, yes, green wave up here, but this is weekend volume kind of holding, guys. You feel me? Right, and then 30-minute, look, now we're starting to get a little bit of curvature there. Money flow, stay in positive still. We had that red dot. We're not getting huge retracements. Look. In fact, here's our trend, like so far we're holding okay on that, right? And then, you look at the RSI, yeah, it has some room to come down, 22. So, we're still, it's not all the way down here and facing a little bit of retracement starting on, say, the 30-minute. It may come below here, bounce off this block, but right now there's nothing to indicate that this is going to come slamming to the floor, at least not on the charts. 22-minute, 15-minute, bottomed out, already looking to it's if you zoom in on this, it has started to crush bullish, red under blue, right? But could come back and test this first. Bottomed, 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 headed down, but could be establishing an upward trend on the RSI. And here, look, on the 1 minute, right? Which is, kind of like it's just going to go negative and positive. It's just the way that it works, right? On the 1 minute. Um, so what's going on here, right? We got this nice little couple of peaks here. We got a nice dip in the money flow that didn't really take us too far down. That's we're on the 1 minute chart. That's nothing right there. Weekend volume. Do I think that, do I think that we're due for some more retracement, like, below some levels that, et cetera, et cetera? Yeah, I don't think that we're blasting off anytime soon. I don't think that we're like going back into overall uptrend anytime soon. Well, okay. Yeah, so let me clarify some things here, right? When I say that we're an overall downtrend, I'm talking about this move right here. Okay. If you look at the chart, guys, we are still very much in a bullish uptrend. And so I just wanted to clarify that because I realized that might have been a little bit misleading. But since this point over here, since before the middle of it says 11 March right there. Yeah, it's been down. And here's the other thing, right? Is how do these patterns tend to break? This is a very bullish pattern. Just a matter of when, you know what I mean? And then why do I think that we still have some downward action prior to us really, really, really taking off and revisiting that all-time high? Excuse me. Had some burritos earlier. So we still have this looking to the left. That's what a lot of people call an imbalance. Pretty big one too, because that's a weekly candle. And the bottom of it is at 51,808. I mean, even it's not marked as a vector candle, but even that looks like a little bit of an imbalance right there, given that support is right here, right? So, zooming out, um, we've been talking about this for a while. No new stuff, right? Right. All right. So then let's go into the 1 minute. Ooh, look at, hello, hello. Is it gonna bounce right there, trend guys? Looking like it might. This is what I love about TA, man. One of the coolest and first things that I learned was if you see 2 points, draw a trend line. And it's just amazing how often like they actually end up being obeyed for a lot longer. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. We're losing EMAs here. This I bet you if we were to go up onto some higher time frames, at the very least, we would see it retesting, something right now. But look at this little pattern right here at the bottom of the RSI. You know what I mean? If you we're making little 1 2 3s there, like it's gonna recover, right? So here's another like example of a good place to, if you're super zoomed in, and let's say it does land here, right? If you're super duper scalper, right? You catch, first of all, confirm. I mean, it's already hitting a trend line. If you're feeling good about your indicators and everything else, uh, you could try to scalp along here wherever it lands. But yeah, we'll see where that ends. You're literally going from 60,900 or so to very top side 61.5. I mean, hey, but watch if we were to let's pull a fib from a previous point. You're like, okay, enough with your damn fibs. No, you will listen to the fibs. You will learn the fibs. You will embrace the fibs. For the bottom, yeah, look at. I mean, the bottom wasn't even established yet, but there's the 786 models around the five, the point 0.5. Wicked up over the 786, but not like a convincing push. There was a wick there to it, rejected. Impulsive move there, like probably a low volume pump, right? And then back down. Came up to retest the golden pocket twice. There's a double top. So if you're super zoomed in, you could have seen that too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll see where that lands. Oh, one other thing I wanted to point out because I did make a note here was that what was it? It was like on the indicators that there was like inverse head and shoulders. Yeah, that's what it was. That it was forming here, here, and here. Did I just lose my RSI again? Yep. It's okay. It's okay. Anyway, yeah, we'll see where that lands. But look, clean bounce so far off of that golden pocket. And okay, so oh yeah, so let me explain this pattern here. It is in our Discord, which you should join. There's some instructions on there and exactly what all this means. So here we are in the 15 minute. And this is what we're gonna do tonight. All right, we're gonna look at stuff. Try to find some short-term levels. Yeah, see if we can, because of course, it's good to be good at any kind of trading, but man, if you can make 1% on some high leverage real quick, then why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, everybody else seems to be doing it all right. Like, we should join that party. So here we go. Let's see. You already know what that level is. We'll just mark these out. So just to point out, we have not necessarily played out the full potential of this, which typically ends up being what is called a dead cat bounce. Not familiar with it, we're gonna have to come up with something else. Maybe like a get that cream bounce, right? And don't be afraid to adjust trend, guys. If it bounces, then the new place is trend. You know what I mean? If it literally just if it fails this level, then this is no longer applicable. All right. But look, I mean, it's bouncing pretty clean, and we could have just drawn it that way just to do where the golden pocket was. Can I make this shit up? All right. All right. Just making sure. All right. So, 15-minute wise, stochastic RSI. I don't even know how I click stuff in. So yeah, look. So 15-minute wise, right? It's at bottom of trend. It's in the oversold area. Not quite catching yet. On Market Cipher, all right, so 6 minutes till this confirms, right? But so far we got that little kind of bouncy recovery wick on the 15. So perhaps our next move is to wait until this candle confirms, correct? Which would then probably confirm at least the beginnings of a bullish cross here, momentum stopping here, and the VWAP, which already does kind of look like it's catching here a little bit. It's not pointing straight down. And then here's the other thing too that I just noticed is this, or am I seeing things? I might be seeing things, y'all. You know, I have a chart for this. This is what we're gonna do today too. Yeah, this is the one actually. Bam, bam. So, if this catches here, let me get zoomed in. Oh my God, lock your shit, Pablo. If this catches here, we would get a sharper angle at the very least, right? And these things do kind of matter, but this is a little flat, looking like a solid double bottom with, okay, yeah, that would be bullish divergence then. This is almost flat, right? Pretty much flat. So a solid double bottom if it lands here with this at a steeper angle. That is also considered a form of bullish divergence. So there we are, and we're still in this pattern that I drew. Let me get rid of some stuff here. But look at, oh, so looking at the 15-minute on Bitcoin, we are trending up in an ascending wedge. I mean, it's not coming to 2 points like really, really sharp just yet, but it is in an ascending pattern. Okay. And anytime you guys see that, just know, especially when angled up that hardcore, right? I mean, you could even just call that wick a little bit of the deviation over gets rejected there. So we could even put it like that. It would still be applicable because it actually contains more points on the trend line. But just so you know, when you see this pattern or the opposite, right, where it's pointing down, it's going to break hard the other way at some point. And I know that for super pro traders, that when they see this pattern, that they're drooling, that they're ready for a short. Yeah. If we had hope for if we had hope for, Bitcoin legitimately like on this move, right? Getting over this is probably the worst thing we wanted to see right now. But, if you're good at shorting the market, um that trend line so far does kind of line up with the bottom of this red box, which, back tested guys like they've actually been working. It's pretty cool stuff. But, once it starts to get into this zone, it might be a good time for you to look short. So I'll put there we go. All right, so that's what we're going to try to do on all of these, and a lot of these are going to be in this kind of a slam to the floor and possible. I mean, this is already again, it's a dead cat bounce until it gets up above these levels and starts confirming, right? Above the POC and starts confirming up towards the value area high. And again, we just got rejected there, so we're still probably headed for the value area low. Which here's the other angle, right? This is the longer term angle right here. Bam. And when it comes back to retest these levels, it doesn't magically bounce perfectly all this line. It almost always comes into this area first. So, I think I was telling Ty this the other day because he was saying that he was asking me where to look short if we didn't hit this, which I was saying about right here, but that it would be optimal because catching this short up here, right? It'll probably fail the POC. Might hit it, who knows? But this comes up and starts to drop, you're not just catching this first move to fail these levels, you're probably coming down to catch these. So that how about and that oh, and the other thing about that is that this still would confirm when you zoom out that with this level here, oh here, sorry. If we bounce above, if we don't break below this, then we've formed a very local uptrend because we already have a higher high up here compared to here. Nothing to have a ton of hope about. I'm just saying. We did make this, which beats this so far. Our next level will be up here at 67,000. But if, as long as we don't break here, we have some hope of like upward, upward motion. So I don't know. Given the monthly, I mean, the weekly even, I don't know, man. That's the thing is that there's a problem like gauging those indicators on the higher time frames, like and how powerful they are, is something I'm not very good at because I haven't done it much, and I'm glad that I'm on this stream paying attention to this every day because it will help me. But we rattle around in here, maybe come up, maybe test the point of control, and then whatever happens at this point. But I do feel like with that monthly weighing, I don't know, this weekly might play out this week, you know what I mean? This took a long time, guys. This bounce is I was a lot of times I think I even do it, but like I expect like I see that sudden movement down and like it's just gonna do this thing really fast, you know what I mean? And it doesn't. It really does take its time. So, we'll see how this week plays out. But so far, we are in this pattern, and it is ascending, and so we are in a little bit of an uptrend with all the indicators looking the way they are. It does make sense to me, but I think that once this breaks, you know, um, looking left here too, just a little bit more locally. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Not, yeah, on every single. There's just a lot that we need to recover here. That's what they call an imbalance. And that's, again at 51 something, 51, we'll call it 51,500. But, maybe that weekly is so powerful that it does something like this and we fail these levels again before we come back down and blah, 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 blah. Who knows? But I think in the meantime, very, very short term, which is what we're trying to do today, it does look like we have a little more push left in us. You feel me? You would like for this candle to be green, but look, see kind of a similar thing where it wicks down, still red. Ah, yes. And then lastly, and then we'll move on. I promise. I promise. Looking at these candles, let me get rid of these. You guys know the levels. They're there. They're in the Discord. Why aren't you there? You should go join it. Um, you're gonna think I'm crazy on this one, but I know it's a little bit hard to see because of those little local boxes that I have here. But when you look at the weekly action, yes, it's a red candle. It's not a vector. It's a normal candle at least, but it is a red candle. But compared to this green candle over here, which these are, you love those hammer dojis, right? Like that's just with the buy action up here, like yeah, those are beautiful. Um, but compared to this high, we'll draw some quick lines, right? That's higher high. It's so far out that it won't even let me do it. But that's higher high, and what the heck? And this is higher low. Time to hope because that's the first time that's happened in a while. Look, we've just been just brutal, brutal. Bitcoin doesn't GAF. All right. All right, so you get where I'm at. I think we have maybe a little bit of a short-term pump left. I don't anticipate getting past this DCB. We're gonna call it from now on DCB target of not too much past 62.8. I expect to maybe like a retest of 63,000 tops. That's what it's looking like to me. Oh yeah, and then if we pull a level, we did already pretty much like get rejected at the golden pocket. Um, but that does not mean that we can't still push the 786 up here. All right? All right. Cool. All right. So then put this just underneath. So I'm keeping track of Litecoin. ETH did make some notes on this last night. Found some lo-fi music I could play in the background. I think Saturday nights are kind of be for lo-fi and charts, and it also gave me an opportunity to actually like mark out things, so I didn't have to keep clicking through all the time frames. This already looks like it's failing. Geez, look at this. Yikes! What just happened? I mean, this might be the precursor to what's going on, but even compared to Bitcoin, look at that. He's just getting beat up, guys. I mean, maybe I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, I do remember that. Wow. Essentially, the indicators on ETH and everything look very, very similar. Um, but I don't know, guys. This is happening right now. I mean, it's just getting beat. I'm starting to see what people are saying that ETH is due for. There's a couple of people I sort of trust that were like, ETH is gonna start. Oh, see, yeah, maybe some hope there, but geez, that was severe compared to. But I guess that's what's been going on. Remember, we were talking about those 2 points and how Bitcoin had actually like pushed over the left shoulder a little bit, and ETH just looked wimpy compared to it. I mean, it might be a double bottom around here at these levels, but I don't know, man. I don't know, guys. Maybe we just dump from here. I don't know. I mean, Bitcoin's still holding inside this wedge for now, but looking dumpy too. Where is it at? Where is it at? Is it the 1 hour, 2 hour? Yeah. All right, maybe we're gonna get that 4 hour retracement. I don't know. All right, no dead cat bounce. Maybe that's it. That's why they call it a dead cat bounce. It doesn't go very far. Yeah, I mean that 4 hour. I guess this was really my only hope at this point, but we'll keep an eye on it. All right, so let's see. Solana also made some notes on this. RSI, red dot MCB on the monthly, same as everything be what below zero pushed out. Yeah, let's see. See where Bitcoin's about to cash if it is. All right, so yeah, the idea here was to because while I was thinking there might be a little bit of pump left, we'll see. Oh, some markets are opening right now, huh? Yeah, maybe a little. Yeah, people are always like, we're gonna get the pump in the morning or whatever. So what we were gonna try to do today is I'm just gonna clear all the TA that I've had on my charts and zoom in on the 15 minute with the anticipation that we are still on Bitcoin in um, that same downtrend that we've been in since March, right? So what I'm going to try to do on each chart, and then this is more talking to myself because I'm ADHD, and I just want to remind myself of what my initial plan was to identify two buy zones below because I know a lot of people do that on their shows, and it does make sense to me given that um, we might have some real downside coming up. We probably do actually. All right, so let's see here. This And we'll start with Litecoin because this one does still have some gas in the tank on a monthly chart. Of course, it's going to do what the rest of the market does, but I don't know. And then here, I don't actually know anything about what that means. Okay, like it could mean the exact opposite of what I'm thinking. Like it might just reject that midline on the monthly right here and just go back down. That could just be a downtrend establishing, right? Okay, so it's something that I'm learning from. Again, still working on being able to identify how powerful the higher time frames are in, and especially right now that we are in a downtrend, to see how they behave. You know what I mean, and learn from it. Okay, so we're gonna start on the 4 hour. And we're gonna try to find good points. Maybe we zoom out to the daily because we want to get a good idea of how the range is, like what range is it in, right? So right here, we've been in a range for about right here, and that's where the end of the real dump. So this is Litecoin's range since all of that retracement. That's probably what the 2021 stuff. All right, so what we're gonna do first is take this low point to the high point. Mhm. I want it to be close. I want to give some closer levels, but we'll put this as bottom line support, right? And I'll show you how we get some more local levels in just a second. So, kind of reflecting on that whole roaring kitty thing. I'm gonna smoke a cigar real quick, guys, or cigarrillo. Um, it's funny because at some point, I like to drop a little news if there's something I see important and stuff like that. And I do pay attention to the macro. You know what I mean? It is important. It does affect what's going on. Um, yeah, we won't go into exactly how I think it affects it because it's a little different. But I do think it's manipulated, and they drop news at certain points. Blah 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 blah. Just kind of like it would be smart to like drop a meme coin when the market's about to like make a recover and pump. You know what I mean? Um, so anyway, yeah, I was, but things are kind of fucked up right now. We all know that. You got the election coming up and everybody jockeying for position and flip-flopping on positions and, one side, especially with regard to what we do, just trying to like do their best to like keep it away from us. I can't wait for Gary Gensler to beat the fuck out of the SEC. And then the other side, just being very, very pro crypto and which is a good thing. It's a good thing. Um, so you do keep track of that, right? But I've just been kind of reflecting on how weird things have been. We all these like wars and blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna sit here and harp on that. We all know. And just thinking to myself, that in terms of our perspective of the people who pay attention to this stuff, like the financial economy stuff, that things were really coming to. We're almost at critical mass. You feel me? Doesn't it feel that way? Like something's about to pop soon. And it was funny because the last time I felt that way, it was after the fact. You know what I mean? This is when I was still kind of learning this stuff. It was during all of that GameStop and AMC squeeze and the Doge craze and Elon and blah 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 all that stuff. Safe Moon. Um, Ty likes to bring up Saitama. Those kinds of things that were going on. But I swear this is true, by the way. But in the last week, a couple of times, twice, we'll call it twice. I literally was just like, man, I wish Roaring Kitty would come back. You know what I mean? It feels like a good time. We need him right now. We need him. Like he was a voice of reason, man. Like he understood all of this shit way before. Like all these people saying all this fame, this super fancy stuff, myself included. I've they what really got me drawn into trading and stuff like that. Obviously, like watching that go down without me was something like, um, but just kind of thinking, man, we really do need somebody like Roaring Kitty around. You know what I mean? And I come across that, and then I see TMI's video, and I don't know, guys. Things they're interesting already. Don't get me wrong. I'm not asking for them to get more interesting, but they're interesting, aren't they? Anyway, all right. So from here, from this low, the bottom of this retracement here, to this high, which is the highest it's made since then. Not the all-time high, but the highest it's made since then, right? You never pull your fibs from left to right, from right to left. They always go from left to right, guys. Never go backward. Um, then, if you want to get some more local tighter levels, you look for other bottoms, right? So this is a good one here. It was that came a little bit. So there's a bottom there, right? A distinguishable one. Okay. So the next bottom from there is where? Here. And then from there it's just a little bit further up. So this to me seems like a good place because it isn't much of a difference. If there was a higher one, like significantly so, I would say we could pull it from there to get a tighter level. But this looks like a good place to move this bottom up to there. What's funny about it? I mean, it pretty much turns this whole level into support, right? So we'll draw it that way. If that's what the TA is telling us, then that's how we'll draw it. This is massive support here. And looking left, look, I mean, here's all-time bottom. It's worked all of this up to about what, right here where this little peak is. That, right? Look, it matches up with that level right there. Bam, all the way across. So it looks primed to me to maybe visit this area of liquidity here, right? Which has confluence with these levels here. That's all I'm saying. It's got gas in the tank on the monthly, y'all. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I'm not sitting here telling you I know what that means. I'm just saying that, from what little I do know, that does seem like at least a slightly hopeful thing. All right. So yeah, that turns this entire thing into support. And I mean, damn, y'all. Red support. I mean, there's just no two ways about it. You know, I'm sitting here trying to find a level below. Like I said, I was going to try to find two buy areas, but we're pretty much, we were in that buy area, right? And we're at support. So if we, you know, if we start dipping into this, we definitely need to start thinking possibly long in it, right? Okay, so what we'll do, get super local. We're gonna do the dead cat bounce retracement on here, like this, like so. Extension, yeah, it's more of an extension, right? That, something like this. Color that red because that's resistance. Yeah, good there. Which, let's see, we're at 88.49, so that's only an $8. Let's see, how else can we discern? Ah, okay, so we got this huge box underneath here, right? That doesn't really give us anything specific to work off of. It doesn't. It's literally from $55 to $78. It's, you know, it's not much of a range to like be looking for something local, right? So what we could do, and I'm still on a daily chart. I do need to zoom in here in a second, but I just want to see how these work out here in a sec. So we're going to pull a retracement fib. So likely bounce area using this is the low, and this move only happened last month. So this is a big pattern that we're in right now, right? Um, but it's, you know, it's already bounced off the seven. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So here's our buy box, right? Here are some areas that we're going to start looking at, like so. First, we get this. Oh, I don't think I said this earlier, but you know, call your moms, guys. Take care of them. I think I did. Call your mom more. She wants to hear from you. Trust me. All right. So within that support, oh wait. I meant to do one more thing here. Within that support box, we now have a level that we can first start looking for buys. Okay, it's right here. Then what we're gonna do is mark out the 1272 and the 1618. So basically, what we're looking at here, right? Fuck. So down here at 77, you know, these tend to go. We'll put this somewhere in the middle here and then set an alert there. Okay. Right there. Crosses there, we're gonna start looking buy, right? You don't just again, you don't just start buying because it's in a box. Like you do need to get some confirmation that it is, because this very well could, do something like this and then come below it before it, decides it's gonna go back up. So you're looking for confirmation. Don't just jump into the trade because you see it come into this box and you're assuming it's gonna bounce there. We still have this whole area that it could come back to. Again, this is long-term support. You know what I mean? With Litecoin with little gas in the tank on the monthly, which is not like the rest of the market. But if it does fail this, you're probably looking down here at 65.40 to 59.17. And if it does get down there, I mean, you almost can't lose with either of these levels. So there's three levels right there. Okay. But this is our very, very temporary support right here. This is long term. There's a big, huge bug chunk of liquidity there, which is healthy and good, right? It's just hard to like scalp trades or like look for like shorter term entries on. Oh yeah, and then one last thing we need to do is pull a volume profile, and we'll just pull it. Let's see what it looks like if we come from back here. No, we need to get more local than that. I mean, those are kind of spread out. But either way, you can already tell that once I zoom in on this, it's going to be at the point of control because it's in the middle of these two. You'll start to see it after a while too. So let's start from here then. Yeah, that's more local and that's making more sense to me. I mean, look, just like Bitcoin, guys, it got rejected right here at this point of control. And then mark out the value area low, green, lock this out of the way. So I'm gonna get this out of the way too, just because it's cleans up the chart a little bit. Your value area low is just under this. Like I said, it could dip below this. So we have our notification set there. We're in the middle of range. It's not a place to be trading, and I have a feeling we're gonna see a lot like that today. Um, but again, we're just getting ready for the week. Um, Bitcoin pumps. This is gonna start testing the point of control. If it dumps, it's gonna probably come down into this. If Bitcoin does take a nasty retracement, stay down, this probably correlates with like 57,000, 56, 57,000. This probably correlates with like 51, 52,000. That's my guess. Just a guess. And I don't know shit. But yeah, there's Litecoin. So we'll see how that ends up looking on the monthly because again, it does have some room. Has a little bit of room. Looks like it's already kind of looking across bearish right there. All right, let's go check on the Bitcoins. Yeah, still in its range. A little bit of blood, but nothing taking some nasty, huge. Is anything getting beat? Gummy, Tooker. What happened to the staking platform, bro? We gotta wait till Wednesday now. So yeah, lower liquidity coins, especially TRX holding pretty strong. Bitcoin dominance up a little bit. I mean, that's fairly bloody, yeah. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So I was like, coin. We'll do Doge for our man. He's nuts. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's clear everything. Start over. I'll use this as low to high as retracement. Already failing that level. Man. Dang, we might be at a point where. Yeah, we'll just draw a fat box of support here. You'll start to find too after a while that everything kind of looks the same. Call your mom every day. Call her. All right, let's see. So there's our support box. Yeah, corresponds with this little chunk of liquidity too, so that makes sense. We might be trying to bounce off of this. Well, Bitcoin's looking a little dumpy right now, so we'll see. All right, Doge. What's Doge doing? Yeah, nothing special here. Daily looking dumpy. 2 day trying to confirm over mid. Weekly, look, see, this is what Bitcoin looked like until today's close. Just like that. It was did not look like it was going to catch anytime soon. Monthly looking dumpy, 12-hour. Maybe a inverse head and shoulders forming here. Okay, okay, okay. Let's see, 6-hour. And I am going to zoom in on this. I just want to get know your environment. You'll hear that from a lot of people. Know your environment first. What are you in? This is still looking a little bit retracey. Here's our 15-minute. Let's take a look. Let's see what she says. I mean, again, we're at longer term support. Oh, you know what? Let's get back to looking for some divergences real quick. Yeah, I mean, it looked like it might have been trying to form here. Because this is lower, and this, if it caught, I mean, it's still technically, if it catches here, is a bullish divergence. Even if it just makes a double bottom here, and this is angled down, it does end up being a bullish divergence, but it's just not right now showing any. I mean, the MACD's kind of swooping up here. Uh, if it is caught here again, it would be a little bit of a bullish divergence, and maybe it lags behind Bitcoin. I haven't been keeping track of Doge lately. I do apologize for that. This looks like it's catching the 15-minute. So this would be flat response down here with a downtrend here. That's usually a good sign of a bounce about to happen. All right, all right. Okay. Okie dokie. Now we know what we're dealing with, right? So let's just to draw lines a little bit easier here. Here's our local pattern. Here's our latest impulsive move. So we'll go from here to there. And it gives us another box within a box, right? Enough with the boxes, man. Do like this easier visible. And I roll with my kitties because I'm hard. All right. So we'll extend this over to the trend line because a lot of times wherever they do intersect ends up being a point of inflection. There's a box within a box, starts at 1393, goes all the way down to 1307. And again, these targets are if we're gonna, this made a higher high here, just like Bitcoin did, like that. See? So there's some hopes of uptrend. Not failing. If, we have all the way down to about 12 cents to maintain, that would be first a higher high and then a higher low, all the way down to just above 12 cents. As long as we can keep that level, we have some hopes for Doge to bounce into an uptrend, right? You feel me? Right, and then let's see here. And that's like a gnarly in it. Is this showing any kind of nope. Yeah, at this point we're gonna have to wait and see where this catches for now. But we can use the fib from the previous low as a possible topside target for now, and then we can come back and update this once we see where this lands. And I will do my best to do updates on all these every day and get them in the Discord for you. For the all five of the people that maybe look at them. All by myself. All right, and then red, lock. That's a little bit more. Yeah, that gives. Let's see, what's the spread here? That's 15, and this is probably something every Doge person knows. I actually had Doge person B's today. He was the one that held on to Doge for a few years, telling me that he's been taking profits lately because I told him not to just hold on to bags, and I just wanted to say cheers to that. That made my fucking day. Literally, the reason the Discord is called Skim the Cream. Good shit, D's. I just say as a general rule, don't listen to shit I say. Okay. All right. So looking at Doge. Damn. Just to reiterate, Elon is not going to tweet shit about Doge. Elon doesn't care about crypto. In fact, he's probably on everybody else's side about it because he's probably one of the lizard people. Lizard people. If you haven't watched the White Files, you need to watch that shit. Yeah, I mean, this could be seen as when Bitcoin had that little breakover trend, and now, you know what? Yeah, this is kind of making sense to me, so I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm not saying they're always gunshots. I'm just saying that, like I was telling you guys in one of the streams that I live right on the border in West Texas. Literally, like I can see Mexico, like yeah, it's right there, guys. And I'm just saying that it's very, very common to hear things that sound like gunshots. I'm not saying they are gunshots, but definitely lots of helicopters flying overhead lately, if you know what I mean. All right. Lots of border patrol in the area too. It's just out of control. They almost passed a law that they can literally pick you up, even if you have all the appropriate. They almost passed this law, guys. No joke. Texas. That that they can pick you up if they suspect that you're an illegal immigrant, and even if you have all the proper ID, they can deport you. And let me tell you, you get deported, guys. It takes a long fucking time to like no matter how much proof you have, you're stuck over there for a little while. Like your whole life just gets paused. Not to mention that's just one of the most un-American fucking things I've ever heard. Another thing too is those guys in the border patrol don't care if you're ex-military. Like one time, I didn't know that you needed a passport. I thought like you could still just get across on an ID. This was years and years and years ago. I was going to with some friends because their band was playing in Juarez, which is the city next to us. And on the way back, I didn't have like, the passport that I needed. I had my ID and I had my VA card because I'm a disabled veteran. And that guy didn't give a shit. Not even like, hey man, I served my country, like it's like, what did he say to me? He was like, you want to make an issue of it, boss? You want to make an issue of it? I was like, no, sir. Just put my hands behind my back and shut up because I was not about to get fucking stuck in Mexico that night. The other thing too is that I spent a lot of time in high school over there, especially on the weekends, which is saying, and it's changed considerably. I miss those days terribly, and I know a lot of people from here do as well. All right, enough of that. So here we are. Here's our Doge overall looking chart, right? Oh, the other thing that we could do was this. We could find within this nice. Seems to me that at least right now there is room to go down for everything, right? Like, see, Doge still has all of this right here to visit, right? More or less. This wick right here kind of like points to a little bit of a gap between like right here and right here a little bit. I mean, it kind of went there, but it didn't stay there long. But let's find some levels. Yikes. A little tighter than that though. Again, we're trying to find. I don't know if there's any more applicable levels, right? Like if it doesn't hold the bottom of this support box, then I mean, Doge has just shown some really strong support through this whole thing. So yeah, it would make sense. So we really are looking for this to hold this box from here. It could come down and test. Like I have noticed that a lot of times it'll test in between these two wicks before it bounce. Like literally just squeezing every last little bit of chunks of change out of people. But that level's been visited over here actually. Now that I look at it, so we are very much looking for Doge to hold this level. Okay, to hold this 786, this 1306. Really hoping that holds right now. Otherwise, you are headed for, if it fails 12 cents, right? We mentioned that as earlier support. You are looking at 10.50 or so as the first retracement. And the 1.272 isn't, it usually gets down to the 1.618 if it's going to do it. But you should expect a reaction here. And then the 1.618 all the way down. At what price was it all that time? This is almost 9 cents, 0.88, which would also make sense, right? So far, we zoom in here. Oh, I made these boxes way too long. All right. Not really showing much signs of recovering from here. How the Bitcoin's looking. Holding bottom trend. I mean, right so far. And then first place that I always look for. Ooh, look at this. Little triple bottom action on Market Cipher with a possible trigger wave coming up on the 1 minute. Bullish, y'all. Bullish as oof. Just kidding. All right, so here's 15. I always 15 is usually my first indication of either, coming back up or going back down. I drew this. Wow. Let's get rid of these trend lines. This needs to be gold. Oh, we were on this chart. That's why. That's the one we're looking for. Okay. Yeah, I mean, looking like it might recover. Look, VWAP kind of it's coming back up, not as sharply. You don't like slopey on the VWAP, Well, I mean, it'd be good for longer term growth, but like when it starts to go up is, when you're trying to get. But here we're still looking at this flat bottom. Hopefully, which I mean, it can get lower for sure, right? Actually, come to think of it, I think this usually happens. There's always this deviation outside, so nothing to panic about just yet. Just I've been looking at this pattern forever. I don't have it all memorized, but there is somewhere in the middle of this, there is usually some kind of a dip that scares everybody. Might be wrong about that, but and then once it does confirm that bottom, what do? Not draw the little random yellow lines because you keep forgetting to turn your paintbrush off, but you would just do something like this, which makes it more what? Parallel. So far, so good. With the let's see, sort of looking to catch. Hopium, guys, hopium. But look, yeah, we got a little bit. That's the flat bottom, just sloping down. Yeah. So, we might just work out this little thing until it breaks probably to the downside. Because, just in kind of, visualize it, but, everything just once it gets up here enough times, every time it gets up here, it becomes more overbought, right? And since we're sloping up, it's going to get overbought faster than it's going to get oversold because there's more buying in the market. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's try this. Let's see. Well, okay. Got a slight downtrend here. What does that make it look like? Aha. All right. Again, guys, I'm not up here trying to act like a pro. I'm literally trying to figure this shit out for myself from what I have learned. And I have been looking at these charts for about 4 years, not all the time, but over the last what 4 or 5 months now, it's been daily. I've been at this for hours and hours and hours every day. Like one of the reasons I decided to start this live stream is because I just sit here and do this shit anyway. So that's the guys. Like you saw the Discord. I literally 2 days for 2 days, like every little Bitcoin thing that I saw, I always got track of this shit. So now, given that this is looking like a parallel, I mean, yeah, a parallel triangle, right? I mean, you do have this upward channel kind of forming, but that swing fail pattern, those are always significant. Good thing is, I'm liking this. I'm liking this so far, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Good thing about parallel channels is what? Is that if they're coming in, whatever trend they're coming in from is which way they tend to break, right? This is uptrend. And it didn't establish the parallel triangle until it hit this swing fail pattern, but we're an uptrend coming into it. Yeah, I know that's there, but this is uptrend until it technically formed. Hit the top, swing fail pattern, develops top trend, which now coincides with the lower trend, which was already established probably back here, if not back here. Right? We're in parallel triangle. They tend to break up from the trend that they're coming at. So, given that it holds, right? So this might give us a little bit more fuel for our target. And I'm only speaking about it positively as though you're long from somewhere down here. You know what I mean? You happen to catch one of these bottoms. And in fact, if if I were trading right now, which I will get to the point where I'm live trading, guys, I promise. I'm just not ready for that step in our relationship just yet. Plus, I'm just not really that good at it. I'm good at doing this, but like, this is why I wanted to like stare at these all day because I think it will. Because when I do take it off of my TA, it tends to work out. But look, since this is already bottom trend, this is the third, technically the third touch, right? So when it hit that at the bottom of the golden pocket, that's probably confirmation for a good buy, right? Because you've already established this trend, and now that you have this swing fail pattern, you have a topside target. So we'll see how that plays out. But look, and then the other half thing you can do, yep, yep. And I would recommend doing it from here is you can draw a fib within this box. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Here's the meat and bones. This is what I was looking for earlier when I said I wanted to try to catch like some earlier levels, like I mean some more local levels, is stuff like this. Too zoomed in. Yeah, well, this is for scalpers, day traders type of shit, I think. And we'll make this one gold too because it's the two internal levels. Trash. I'll get rid of this. We know where that's at. Just to keep things nice and clean. So here are two levels inside of this triangle. Just because my OCD gets crazy when I leave them like that. I mean, technical analysis says that, first of all, 786 is a very possible retracement. Also says that triple top, that we should have seen that coming, guys. Like, yeah. Anyway, um, TA also says that, yes, it has failed the point of control and that it is the probability is that it's going down to come for this lower value area low, but it does not say that it's going to go straight down, right? There's always patterns within these channels, right? They kind of establish ranges, and so it's very possible, this still could, fail this a little bit, blah blah blah. But if this does break up, which probability says that it does, it still could come up here before failing, and that would be maxing out like a DCB, if you feel me. But right now, it looks like we are inside of this, and the percentage is probably maybe 1% from top to bottom. But, you know, seems like a pretty safe trade for a reasonable amount of leverage. Watch, it's gonna dump way below this and completely prove me wrong, which would be fine because it's just here to learn, right? We're showing signs of catch. 15 is yeah, I mean, this is the only place we're really even showing some signs of catch. So it could just be getting started, guys. So again, we'll keep track of that, right? Cool. Top of these levels real quick. Top to bottom, we're looking at just less than $1,000 swing from top to bottom, right? And I would say it's probably pretty safe that, even though it's in this trend line, that it could come back and test the bottom of this golden pocket without it failing to the downside. Okay, it doesn't mean it's going to stay inside of this golden box, this golden pocket right here. If it starts to fail that, then I would start to worry that we're actually breaking down below. And that's why, people are saying you're too zoomed in sometimes, but I think I drew one of these like it was like Sunday of last week, and it ended up like that whole range ended up being applicable for a hot minute. Let me start leaving my TA on my chart so that way I can show you what I'm talking about. It might have been on this one. Where is it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here it is. Check it out. I have two Bitcoin charts, guys. I drew this one out. This was, geez, 7th of May, so 5 days ago, and it ended up being applicable for a full 6, about a day. But maybe a little too tight. But it kind of banged around in here a little bit before it dropped. Feeling a little bit better about this range though. But again, super local. Oh no, we're over here. Super local right there. To me, that looks like a pretty decent long, but it doesn't necessarily mean again for the vice versa that it's going to come all the way up to this trend. In fact, it's probably going to reject at the bottom of this right here somewhere. That's my guess. But again, if you're good at leverage and you're not scared to use the high leverage, that's still from here, current price to the bottom of this 0.92%. So you said assuming that, like it's a, let's just round it to 0.9% with 50%, 50x leverage. And you're taking a very confident, safe trade on Bitcoin, which is, the safest to trade. With your indicators all telling you that, it's a safe trade. All right, so we'll mark this out again because I'm going to post this in the Discord. But That's the other thing too, is that something that I've recently had to like really hammer into my head is let trend establish first before you decide. But here you are, you got three touches at bottom, and it's at bottom in a golden pocket of support. There's a little room to the upside inside the pattern. All right. Hold on. All right. Yeah. See, OBS does that once every stream, and it's always a good sign that everything's functioning. But what I was about to say is that, now I'm hesitant to, be the live setup guy and, blah 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 blah. But here we are. We got a good trend established. We got a good pattern established. We've got two internal levels. And not only that, but even this is still kind of short term in terms of their significance. This is only on a 15-minute chart. It literally is just how this pattern is going to play out. And not only that, guys, once this does finish playing out, I'm gonna post this somewhere for posterity. You know what I mean? Just so we can review how it went down. Um, and then back test it, to get better at our methods as we go along, or mine anyway. But yeah, that's making sense to me. Is that cool with you? You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's see if there's any divergence. See, there's no divergences here. This is pretty much forming one. So like right here, look, here's more confirmation that this is actually about to head up at least a little bit. Is that this is a flat bottom response like we were tracking, and we did get that bounce here at the bottom of trend, which would give it a different angle. And I know you see it. I just want to make sure. You'd be like, Pablo, nobody's even watching. That's okay. And then so yeah, and then we have a flat response here. Angle down, flat response. VWAP coming. Yep, look, just pushing over. Hopefully that money WAP, that money flow follows it. Still positive, retesting zero, but the VWAP is our leading indicator on that. So it does look like, at least for now, yeah, we'll see how that plays out, right? Because again, it's Sunday night, isn't it? Mm, well, at least here it is. But we've got markets opening on a Monday right now. So maybe this is the beginning of our little push, but yep. Definitely got the divergence on the 15. So if we're scalping and we're doing some shorter term trading, my guess right now, and I am going to back test this, would be this is a decent long, at least to up to this level, if not to the top of trend, if not into this resistance box. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, nice. Okay. Man, I'm almost scared to get bullish on stuff, man. I'm just like, it's gonna push, guys, and like, even though I'm the one that's been screaming at everybody that like, we're in downtrend. So I'm gonna leave this up on the screen for you guys. Go have a cigarette. Go heat up some. Go get some coffee real quick. give my cat some ear scratchies, and then when I get back, I have 3 alerts that I've already set, and we're gonna go back and check those and see where they're at. All right, cool, cool. Yeah, that guys. Tell your coworker we said thank you. Yo, yo. Sorry about that, guys. Almost ready here. Almost ready. Almost ready. Uh-oh, look it. Oh, hey, Ty. Oh, yeah. Um, hold on one second. So yeah, good to see you, Ty. All I was saying earlier, so this is just local levels, right? Full the fib here. We're at the 382. I mean, we'll probably consolidate here a little bit at least, but this is the super, super local level within this pattern. let's just get rid of this within this pattern. And I was saying earlier that trend had, because this actually extends to back here in terms of trend. So that's one, two, that might even be a touch. So one, two, three, fourth touch on trend. And it was about right here. Like I just went to go make some coffee right now, but I was saying that like if I was a betting man, this would be a good place to long. Um, because of that confirmation of trend. And then we got a swing fail here, which established upper trend, which puts us into a parallel triangle coming from an uptrend. And that we do know that parallel triangles tend to be a continuation. I think it's only like a 62% chance. It's not even like a huge difference, but probability is on the side of this breaking in the same direction that it came from. So what I was thinking is that the indicators kind of match up with this, right? And I'll show you what I was talking about there too in a second. I'm not sure how much you caught, but that this may, after it breaks out of this pattern, come up to test this. And I set an alert here because this is where I'm going to start to look short. Because I honestly don't think it's going to beat the point of control. I think it's going to maybe. I don't even think it's going to retest it. I think it's going to fail at the very high, like here. That's what I think. That the one thing that we did have hope on our side was this, because we had bullish divergences up to the 6 hour. The 4 hour is already positive, right? It's already kind of flowed over. There's a red dot printing there now, so that may even actually fail there. But we had started to go positive on the other frames where that divergence was, right? That it still needed to finish playing itself out on the 4 hour. Which this, just because that red dot is there doesn't mean it's going to slam to the floor, right? Like even this didn't. It could just mean that there's a little bit of a sell-off going on inside of this pattern, but it still hasn't flipped positive. And when you see divergences like this, it almost at the very least does, dip over the other side, right? Even if it's on the other side, it'll come down. But on the 6 hour, it still has room to go positive. I know it's pointing down and the money flow is weak, but this divergence is still there and it hasn't quite played itself out until this. I think at the very least, it will test midline. So that does mean, in my mind, that we do have, it may just mean that we play this out or we test this and get rejected. That's what I'm thinking. As a recap, real quick. But yeah. All right. So let me take a sip of my coffee. Ugh. But I mean, that whole DCB pattern right now, you know, where I was showing earlier that I started posting things in Discord about this pattern 2 days ago, and I had this box drawn there too, and I really did start to doubt that we were going to even start to push it. Like I was thinking, because this was looking around it, that we were going to go down, but look, I mean, it's so far we're on track to continue that pattern. But we'll see. We'll get an idea of what's going to happen because now we have some established trends on a very, very local level, right? Like super zoomed in kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm sure you saw it in the Discord. All right, so what I was going to do next is publish, check what alerts I had, right? Because I did get some alerts. Oh, and then earlier too, you might want to take a look at Link because on the monthly chart, it's the only one that still has room to the upside. Everything else is topped with a red dot, and LTCs like RSI and Market Cipher is showing that it's only at about midline. So I don't know if that means it's just going to reject there and go down, or even if Bitcoin does a little bit of this, that Litecoin's going to have a nice, like a bigger push to the upside because it still has room. It's going to be a learning experience. Um, so Link, AVAX, and ENA. So where are we at on Link? Okay. Okay. This is the 4 hour chart. Kind of crushing bearish, right? So far, wick down below the support box. But yeah, I did set this alert for the bottom support, right? Um, think our safer bet at this point would be to let's set an alert at bottom of trend when it comes down to retest this, right? But Link is in a buy zone. I mean, just look at that. It's not taking the same kind of what was it? Yeah. Watch this. Let me move Link up, and then we're gonna change the color on this because we did get the alert. We're gonna put that as blue. But look, that compared to that, this is sideways consolidation. Yeah, a little bit downtrending, but more sideways consolidation. Which, given that Link does tend to kind of front run Bitcoin at times, we might be looking at a little bit of sideways consolidation here and then a push up. I'm just saying that that monthly is ugly. Oh, and that the weekly did show some signs of like we do have some room to the upside. A VWAP kind of coming up. So we do have some hope for push here. And I know I've been the one screaming that we're in downtrend, but we might actually get like a somewhat legitimate relief pump coming this week. I don't know. Again, I'm learning from how all these things work. Yeah. But Link, I mean, right now, it's got this nice, maybe a head and shoulders forming. So, I mean, it does look like it might push, but it's at support, value area low right there. Um, so I set an alert here just because that might be a really good buy soon. Uh, Levax, hit that shorter term support box, set off that alert. Again, here's a really good example as well that this is in sideways consolidation as opposed to being more downtrending, I guess you would say. So if we, here's okay, yeah, AVAX and Link, given that they haven't really even begun to recover this candle to the left, which is what Bitcoin is doing right now, um, these might be the ones that we're looking for once we get confirmation, if we get confirmation that Bitcoin is going to start pushing higher. And I mean, this is going to turn in like shorter term, midterm. This whole thing right here is going to turn into solid support. We just got to see where this lands. So now what we'll do, we'll set an alert just above this little low right here to give us an indication that it's starting to dip into this support box a little bit. But no, let me move that one up as well. That's not looking bad. And I've been saying like we've had some, and this is something I've been recently like nailing into my head too, because probably the one person I do trust on YouTube hammers this shit all the time, but like look for those divergences. That's where he makes his cream. And so this is the first time that I've been actively tracking one since the 15-minute chart for 2 days now. Just so we do maximize that cream, right? And then the other alert was on Ina, I believe it was. Yeah, Ina, my baby. 2 days starting to catch data. Not good data, but there's a little bit of an RSI right there. Dailies, yeah, look at bottomed. I mean, you can just see that this is at whatever support this is. It's not much, but it's there. Um, but it's holding so far. All right, but not quite showing, but that's the daily, so 12 hour, not quite showing signs of catching. Nothing there either. Yikes, y'all. Awa, we were. So 30 minutes starting to show a little bit of push or cross uh bullish. Oh, and here, look, here's a good no, no, that's not divergence. That's angling down. So nothing there. But double green dots. This is supposed to be a good thing too. Um, Unit's kind of getting hammered. Let's see. Nice deep anchor wave though. Kind of like that whole principle of like the deeper the retracement, the bigger the recovery kind of thing. Yeah, there's just no hope here. Let's see. I mean, that's okay. All right. So maybe just on the 1 minute. Okay, this might be an indication, and this is just tinfoil hat shit, guys. Um, Damn it, I did it again. All right, telling you what? Let's get rid of one of these. This market cipher A. Are the bottom dots the ones that have printed? I'll show you. I'll explain them in just a second. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so what I was looking at here, and this is the 1 minute, right? And this might be a little bit of a this is a tinfoil hat moment. Don't get me wrong, but this might be an indication that we are looking at a little bit of a push market wide because look at how I mean, Ina's beat down, guys. There's just it got tore up. In fact, the first time I ever longed this was from this price, if I remember correctly. And it made some good gains. But yeah, it's just getting hammered. There's no signs anywhere that there's like recovery really like forming. There's no divergences or anything like that. Everything's just kind of pointing down. But look, now that Bitcoin's very possibly gonna finish out that 6 hour divergence, right? Look at the money flow on ENA. Nice and thick, nice curvature, came all the way down, nice curve back up, and just VWAP pointing up, super zoomed in. I mean, we're literally on like a look at just kind of coming green right there. VWAP's a negative right here. We might have to work out this midline, but there's some signs of hope right there on ENA that after it just got beat, y'all. Look at this. Triple bottom, quadruple bottom. This slightly coming up while this is coming down. There's your divergence right there. You can see it on the 1 minute a little bit, and it just kind of makes sense how this is starting to come up. I mean, let's analyze ENA on a 1 minute real fast. Look, so we got the little 1, 2, 3 on the RSI down here. Now ENA made a little bit of a higher low, right, from here to here to a higher high. The first time that's actually happened in a significant way for quite some time. EMA's looking just horrible, but it might be trying to take a ride on the 50 right now. That needs to come down. All right, so let's zoom out and see where everything is. Liquidity wise, right away the thing that pops out to me is this right here. So it would, obviously we're looking at if it fails, what is it at? It's at 82 right now, 73, so about 74 cents if it fails that, it's coming way down. But I do happen to know, like if you were looking at this on any other kind of coin, you would definitely say that like, yeah, I'm not messing with this. But this is ENA, they just released a stable coin. It may have just taken its retracement. Like it's about as low as it's gonna get right now. You know what I mean? And longer term, this would still, if it holds here, if it holds here, I mean, it still could come down here and make a higher low longer term and be an uptrend because look, here's a higher high, right? Looks like a buy zone to me. Um, so let's, oh yeah, green dots and red dots on MicroCipher. I do get the basics of Market Cipher, but there are some complexities I don't even use. There's four total packages of indicators that you get with it, and I only use B. And some of that stuff, you should watch Flopping Groper, his brother, like describe this shit, and oh god damn, it's like, all right. So let's yeah, that's what we're doing today. Oops. Let me go plug in my laptop. One sec. Okay. Green dots, red dots, right? Um, Let me go back to see what your question. What's good? Think it's turning around a bit. Push, you can do it. Gotcha. Thank you, sir. Are the bottom dots the ones that have printed? If you're asking me, like, okay, let's go back to Bitcoin. If you're asking me, like, the dots that I've been tracking, yes, they've been the ones printing on the bottom. So it would be, uh, I started tracking them back here. It's probably this one or something like that. And then I think actually, I'll go back to the Discord and show you. So yeah, this was on the 10th, so this was Friday at 1:47 p.m. And then oh yeah, and then at some point I don't remember exactly what stream it was, but I did mention that there was a bullish divergence forming. I believe it was on the 15 minute. That's where it started. And then the next morning, yeah, it had to have been that night stream. So this was at 1:47 p.m. I think I mentioned it that night, and then the next morning I saw this on the 3 hour, right? I was trying to find the confirmed one on the highest time frame, right? It hadn't quite confirmed on the 4 hour, but I did find it confirmed because there's the green dot. There's the slope, right? There's the angle here, and it had confirmed there. So there was our green dot, and that was when we started to kind of like grind up a little bit. And then I also posted a 15-minute chart that said that was basically saying that I thought, our DCB pattern, that I thought that we were based on what I was seeing that I at that 3 hour divergence that this 15-minute might actually push into this box or at least close to it. And then yesterday at 10 a.m. yeah, that we were about to confirm. Like I felt this green dot on the 6 hour because it had printed on the 4 hour. But that on the 6 hour, that this divergence was the last time frame, the highest time frame that I was still seeing this, right? But I was still waiting for that green dot to print because it just confirms that this is ready to start coming up. But this angle was still there, right? So there's our divergence still. And look, this is a track. Let's go back and track price real quick too. That's where it was when we started. This was when I was getting doubtful because it looked like it was just going to get weakened out, right? And then here's a higher time frame, but now we have like confirmed moves up, and this was when I confirmed it on the 6 hour. When I saw it on the 6 hour, now I didn't confirm it, but it confirmed. And then the 12 hour was the one place I wasn't seeing any divergence. And so this is where I was waiting to get a green dot, just that we were going to pump, but there was no divergences. You know what I mean? And that's why I felt we were probably going to fail somewhere close to this box because 12 hours is a pretty powerful move. Um, but I didn't feel like we were going to get past that because of the way the daily was looking. And then that brings us to now. So we have, this is all of our consolidation range. You'll probably see it range in here inside of this and then break one way or the other. If we fail this really thin green support box, these are the ones I've had drawn out for a while. These are the ones, this whole part right here in the middle is what I drew today. But if it fails this, we're probably headed down towards like Luis said, like towards 57 at least. But I still feel like 51, one way or the other, whichever direction we go right now, I still like we're gonna see that sooner than later. And but if this breaks up, here's our top side target for what I'm thinking is going to fail. But if we do start to retest this point in control and confirm up, that's another good sign for a long because we do have this like nice little level of support built over here to the left. But that's where we're at. And I was saying, yeah, it was a little bit like before this, I was like, okay, so we have a nice little bounce on it for trend. It looked like I was saying this right here looked like it was going to be a good long to me. And so where are we at now in the pattern? Let me get to the right chart. Yeah, so far so good. I bet you this is like, we'll pull a fib and see where it's at in that progress because that also, yeah, look, we're always talking about how the 236 and 382 are consolidation zone. This is the 1 hour and this is where it's been. The meat of this top part right here failed. I mean, it failed at the top of the golden pocket, the actual one, but it did wake up just past the 786, halfway in between 1 and 786, and then started coming down. But consolidating here, and then so we go to our little cheat codes to see what we think would happen next. So like if this was completely topped out right now and money flow was negative, we would think we're probably going to fail here, right? But look, it's bottomed and 30 minute, I mean 1 hour looks like it's gonna. I bet you if we zoom down, yeah, see it's starting to cross a little bit bullish. So maybe we're about to start climbing up, which would make sense, right? Because when we were here, we were towards the bottom of the overall pattern. And then we'll see where we go from here. But it does look like, we are due for a little bit of, we're going to finish consolidating in here, however long that takes. And then maybe start to maybe try this again. Because if we push the actual 786, we're still making a lower low and then getting rejected at trend. But I'm saying train with, learning how to trade with these patterns are pretty much the safest thing in the whole world. So that's one of the things that I just want to get down to a science for sure. But that's super local zoom. Yeah, and that was the whole point of this stream too, was to get like super zoomed in on stuff and find levels that we can deal with as like scalpers and day traders. But so far, I mean, the it's not me just guessing and having feeling a certain way about Bitcoin. Like I've been able to look at these things and see the indicators, and it's just telling a story. And Just going to be interesting to see how high we get into this. I mean, because from here, that's what I was pointing out earlier too, is from here to top of this, let's just go conservative. From here, current price to the bottom of the DCB box, that's 2%. And on Bitcoin, 2%, and that's just easy. Yeah. So, that's for me, I don't know what everybody else I don't necessarily have my set in stone rules for leverage, but Bitcoin 2%, okay, and then from here to top of trend, right? I'm just trying to prove like what my logic would be. So from here to top of trend, that's 1%, right? So, you stick 50x leverage on that, you get 50%, 50% trade out of it, if not 100% just to here. But on Bitcoin, just making a 2% move where, Bitcoin's about as reliable as it gets, I would say that's a pretty safe bet. If I was going to put high leverage on it, it'd be something like that. You know what I mean? 50x leverage on some meme coin, that's what I'm saying is that to me seems like a better place to stick some good leverage on it. You feel me? But yeah, I mean, the crazy part is that like this didn't make like a sudden pop up there. You know what I mean? You would think it really did take its time where I was just like, yeah, I told the Discord, oh, we're gonna get this dead cat bounce, you know what I mean? And I thought it was gonna happen with like, maybe within 24 hours, but this really has grinded its way through this. And so that's cool. I was saying earlier that if this does play out and does some at least get up to this here, I am gonna take a screenshot of it and use it as a somewhat of a guide for the next time. Because these Alex even asked on if he was we were down here. It was right after it happened. He's like, "What does usually happen?" And I typed in chat. I was like, "Usually a dead cat pounce," and he agreed. So yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, and then here's Litecoin's monthly look. Everything else is topped out on the RSI with a red dot. It does look like it's gonna retest whatever level, maybe mid, but it still has room to the upside compared to everything else. It still has some room to go up here and Litecoin just kind of has like its own solo moment for when it blows up. So I'll be keeping track of that as well. It's the only one I found, literally. All right. What time is it? Oh, 2.5 hours. That's it. Just kidding. And then we did Doge too. Nothing new on Doge. Also, probably very reliable trades. You know what I mean? You could make some decent trades on Doge, knowing that first of all, like at its current levels, it has just built some really solid support. But we marked out 1050 and 880 because that's what the fib said, but those two just kind of make sense if you've ever kept track of Doge. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But nothing I'm keeping too special attention on. Um, let's see. They were talking about 88 today, so let's see here. Damn. Please tell me there's some divergences for me here. I'm like, why is anybody talking about 88 ever? Jeez. All right, monthly topped, weekly. So far, looking just like Bitcoin. I mean, you can kind of see there's a little bit of a support resistance flip possibility here. Um, just looking at the price action. I mean, it needs to hold here. Um, and then so that's the weekly. Money flow's still sort of positive on the weekly, which is good. 2 day going up, sort of. Daily already coming down. 12-hour bottomed. Any divergences anywhere? Oh, we got these three over here. One, because that's flat. Two. And that's on the 12-hour. That's a triple bottom right there. And it still hasn't really like bounce from that. And this is starting to kind of like look up. Let's see, 6-hour. If it catches at the same level, if it catches basically at this little thick line here, and it looks like it might, but ADA is ADA, nobody's buying it. That's why, like, when they make these calls, like, I get the chart looking that way, but nobody's trying to buy the shit. Price ain't going nowhere. Uh, I mean, that's just looking dumpy. Dump. That's looking like it might start catching, but again, nothing to write home about, y'all. But I guess it's just because it's been hammered into the ground. You know what I mean? So I bet you if we were to zoom back out, yeah. All right, so let's do this. Let's go to the 4-hour, see what this looks like. The problem is right now, Ty, is that like I just wish alts would push, but I just don't. Even if Bitcoin does have like, we're really gonna have to see at least 63.5, if not like a push to 65 to even start seeing. They're just bleeding no matter what it does. It's awful. But it just doesn't look like a new kind of real alt pushes anytime soon. All right, so it's got a nice little triple bottom here. One, two, three, right? Again, no divergence between this unless it catches again, at the same level. But I mean, it's at least looks like it's the beginning of sideways consolidation coming from downtrend. I saw on Twitter that Rand posted something and it was like, I bought ton coin, you bought XRP, you bought this, I bought that, you bought this. We are not the same. And I was like, first of all, Rand, shut up. But Charles Hoskinson, like the guy who runs ADA, what did he put? He was like, oh yeah, he's like, I wasn't aware you were able to quantum leap because they were like coins from last cycle compared to this cycle. It was fucking hilarious. Charles Hoskinson, like, I kind of like that dude. He lives on some ranch in Montana and like raises bison and shit. Flies around on a helicopter. Pretty interesting dude. And he looks like he's like 55, but I think he's only like he's not even 40 yet or some shit. You look at him and he looks like Jerry Garcia, like old Jerry Garcia. All right, 88 1 hour. Why am I looking at this shit? 15. Is there any like positive money flow anywhere, first of all? I'll do a better like job of finding good charts, but it has been kind of working for me to like look at what people are talking about. All right, let's let's just start on the one. Let's go on the 4 hour and then start charting from there. So we're gonna assume here's another like possible DCB pattern, right? This little dump here. So we'll pull a fib from there to bottom, this bottom here. Yeah, Rand's been getting a little cocky lately. It's like, bro, you have like a whole team of people that like trade for you and do research for you. Like you still don't even know how to trade. Like your own people clown you for it. But like I think, the hype, his show machine's making more money than it usually does, and that's saying something because like Gummy and Tucker and all that stuff really have added like a whole nother level, and I just feel like Rand needs to calm his tits. So he still destroyed Gummy. Like I'm kind of pissed off about that. Not pissed off, just disappointed, like it was supposedly this huge community thing and they weren't doing it for profit, they were giving it away for free. Nobody's complaining about free money again, y'all. I'm just saying, like, it just ended up being used to get people to, I mean, how many different exchanges do they have partnerships with? There are people putting $100 in every single one of those exchanges just to keep up with the Gummy airdrop. That's crazy. People, and then the thing is probably a lot of those people don't have the money to really be spreading it out like that. You feel me? They're just trying to get those gummies, dude. Meanwhile, here we are, still doing this shit. All right. Anyway, uh, so there's upper level right here of resistance for our DCB pattern, bottom of which is 51 cents or so. And then pull another one from here. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, one of the goals of this tree was to be able to identify it way like closer in local levels. Well, given that ADA has been beat into the ground, like yeah, these are about as local as they get. There's two areas of resistance up there. Shit. All right, and then what we'll do is to get some lower levels, we'll start with this bottom and go to this top. Let me get this fib out of the way. And that identifies our support, which it is now in. Oh yeah, Ty. And then the other thing I was talking about earlier was that I'm not sure if you were here or not, but I was talking about how Roaring Kitty is back. Well, not back officially. Roaring Kitty, if, in case you guys don't remember who that was the guy who was keeping track of like all the short interest on GameStop, and then very publicly like started streaming like his trades about GameStop, and like he was the one that helped. He was the one that he was the reason that short squeeze happened in the first place, along with the one with AMC. And so he definitely became like a trading hero through all of that, and then one day announced that like he wasn't going to be doing it anymore, and that he was they was going to be streaming. He was going to go live his life, in other words, right? And today, for the very first time in 3 years, let me see if I can find it for you. He posted this. Check this shit out. This. We all know what that posture is. That's when shit's about to get real in the game. You know what I mean? And so I saw that, and then I was going through YouTube, and I don't know if you remember the Masked Investor, but he's a stock guy that's been around since those days. In fact, one of the people that kept very like close track of GameStop. Trending in United States, GME. But he was talking about the GameStop and AMC that right now Games AMC is at like $2.20 or some shit like that, like really low, below its like all time, like it's an opening high, low. Um, and then so he said like I mean pretty much right now would be a good time to buy it because you know that the chart looks amazing. You know, he knows a lot more about that. I did kind of look at it real quick and I can kind of see what he's talking about, but I do trust TMI. And then, so he said the AMC right now is good. And then, right, yeah, yeah, me too. I had the same response. And that GameStop, if you see it like confirmed at $20, that it's just a buy, to just buy it. And I do trust TMI very much. Very much. He nails things down to the cent sometimes. Like most, he's within cents most of the time. And I think stocks are easier to do that on, but just so you know, I don't know if you, I think you said you've never used Cash App, but you can buy AMC and GameStop on Cash App if you don't have like a stockbroker. Because I think otherwise, like you have to put like a huge amount of money like on Fidelity or some shit. But I have bought stocks on Cash App before, and you can actually set limit orders. But you know, it was funny because I have been thinking of for the like for whatever reason, I was just you know you think about like what's going on in general with the economy, especially with you know what we try to do. You know, it does help to know those things, and feeling like you know things were coming a little bit to like critical mass. And I swear, a couple of times over the last couple week or two, I was just like, you know, we need Roaring Kitty to come back. Like, and there it was, man. And I saw that, and I just, you know, I was like, oh shit, like I haven't seen that name in a while. And then I saw that video with TMI, and it just kind of hit me. And but yeah, AMC and GameStop over 20, and it does look like AMC is just at buy. It's in ridiculously cheap. Wow, let me just show you real quick because I do have a little section for stocks that I never fucking check. Um, that interview that 291. That one interview that everybody was watching and they were trying to like accuse him of market manipulation and all this shit. They're trying to corner him and he literally looked at that lady and he was like, "Hey, we just like the stock." And it was like the excuse that everybody was using and yeah. I remember watching a documentary on that and they're showing the part where he says that and how the chat just blows up like fucking legend. He fucking said it. Like, hell yeah. But yeah, I mean, look at this. Like, let's just zoom out on this. And I do think I'm gonna call it after this because yeah, 88 is just at a buy zone and because it's just been crushed into the ground and a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's time to trade it," but nobody's buying this shit. But watch, I'm gonna be wrong about that. Um, but look, I mean, its previous low was a long time ago, actually. It's been below this level for quite some time, but say $11. And if you want to talk about imbalances in the market, I mean, if you were to zoom out like on a 1 year, this would be just one big red candle. Look at that. That's just got mad room to the upside. The all-time high on it is 393. So you know what? Let's do some our version of Moon Boy meme coin math on it real quick. Because this I'm assuming that if Roaring Kitty is coming back for the reasons that everybody is like creating all the hype about, because I have seen a little bit about it. He's anticipating a squeeze coming soon. So let's dive right in, right? I mean, just to if you draw out the normal golden pocket, and again we're on super long term, right? Yeah, Roaring Kitty is back, y'all. Well, hopefully he's back. But that's the first time I checked. It's been almost 3 years. It was June of 2021 the last time. Fucking hero. All right. So that's long term. I don't know, man. If it gets there, and that's if it's gonna squeeze, you would almost think that it's gonna beat all time high, right? Like, I don't know how those things work, so I'm not gonna even claim that like that's what it's all about. Let's see if there's any trend lines that it's starting to push or break. Oh, oh shit. All right, so I have mentioned this on the stream a couple of times that the definition between short squeeze, during those times and what people talk about it now are very different, right? Because people are like, this is about to squeeze. And then so, looking at the charts when they say those kinds of things, I've been just trying to identify like some kind of pattern between when they say it and what I see on the chart, right? This is going to look a little wonky, but we'll just draw one from here to here for now. So we're connecting these two highs. Bam, bam. And then these two lows. And look where it's at. I'm getting chills. Okay, and then so what we'll do, pull fib here, right? Here's our DCB pattern. Pull fib here. Mark this out. So this is conservative target for what we would consider to be a real like short squeeze, right? And then just for funsies, we'll mark out these three levels above. The one, not the normal way I would do TA, but we're trying to find reasonable targets. If there is, it's some, and who knows what the fuck it means, man. But let's keep track of it. We're trying to learn here, become more well-rounded traders. I don't know how to trade stocks for shit. I don't trust after hours trading, but I mean, I don't even have to mark out a green box. If it's not support, then this is going to become a penny stock again. But so these are all what I would consider to be in what would be like a hardcore short squeeze to the upside, not just like in some normal pattern that's gonna, you know, behave normally, but it's just gonna make an impulsive move. But if we are gonna get a similar type of short squeeze, right? And I'm just guessing this is all conjecture because I'm learning about this. I'm just going off of what I know already. Um, so let's take some percentages, right? $2.91. It's a bottom of the golden of 933%, 1195, 1518. These are percentages, 1937%. And then just to the reasonable blow off top extension, you're looking at almost 2500%. Mhm. Interesting. But yeah, I'm just I'm saying that like when people start talking short squeeze, they're talking about the bottom of these like triangles where it's just squeezing out this little part before it makes a move. And maybe that's what made Roaring Kitty kind of. Who said it will be? Oh, yeah, yeah, I did. Well, I mean, yeah. But maybe that's what's making him sit up in his chair, man. I mean, I might just like. I mean, that's almost meme coin math, right? Like, if you're gonna throw $10 at Crow with knife or Cholo Cat, you might as well throw $10 at this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that might tack on some zeros to your account real soon. Interesting. You don't even have to know how to trade stocks. Like, you just basically buy some and I mean, I know it's not that different. The TA is the same. It's just the after hours part, like how it works at open, and I'm a little bit like foggy on that part, like what happens at open. I think you set a limit order at night, and if it hits in the morning, yeah, some shit like that. But look, there's gaps. Like this is a gap. I know it kind of, but it just blasted through it. But there's a gap right here. That gap is all the way up at from 142 to 173. I don't know. Kind of makes me feel like, got started on this at just the right time. You know what I mean? But I have been feeling that way lately. I'm just like, I mean, that weekly's a little topped. What was the monthly like? That monthly is bottom. That's exactly opposite. That might, look, we'll invert this. Check this out. And this is about about to happen to the rest of the market. It's about to go. I'm just kidding. That makes absolutely no fucking sense. Well, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we need to keep track of that. In fact, I'm gonna move that to my master list. I haven't had a stock on there and since the last time I had AMC on there. That was a long time ago. Um, was seeing if anything was even making any gains at all. Hmm. Let's check in on Bitcoin one more time. Let's see here. Where is it? Need still need to come down 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. So yeah, yeah. Okay, so nothing to panic about, right? Like we are a little bit of in a bloody dumpy stage, but and this is what I like about these patterns is that we are still inside of this shorter term parallel triangle. In fact, we're not even at the golden. Yeah, look, it bounced off of the inside of this wick down, right, so far, but already kind of bouncing back over this little golden pocket with only, yeah, on the hour. We'll give it another 5 minutes to see how this closes because there's a few time frames that are about to close. But I mean, temporarily, it's showing a little bit of strength. This is normal. It's uptrending. In fact, if you want to look at it another way, and I hate having too much lines on my chart because it's what Alex calls analysis paralysis. But there is an uptrend here too that is in play. And then nothing like within this pattern that suggests downtrend yet. So, I mean, I think we have Fed news Tuesday. Fed interest rate decision. Fed schedule this week. How about that? See what that says. We need to where some of this shit scheduled for a week of May 12th. Yeah, that's what I thought. Will the Fed Reserve cut interest? There's an interest rate decision. I'm not one of those guys that like knows this stuff in depth. One thing I do know is that we are probably not, first of all, definitely not, most likely in an overwhelming sense, not due for any rate cuts, probably until next year, from what I understand. But so far, and the probability of this is actually starting to get higher. But as of right now, I don't think anybody anticipates that they're going to raise rates. But that we are actually facing probably rate a rate hike sometime before the end of the year. And if you're not sure how that works, the higher the interest rates are, basically means the markets are going to go down because less people are borrowing money and spending it. But yeah, there is news, and I believe it's Tuesday. Tuesday and Wednesday. So probably announcement on Wednesday. Maybe we'll do like a Fed News stream, but I think I would rather go to Tom Crowns because there'll be people there. Maybe we get some more followers and stuff. We'll start doing that. Those are actually fun. But Tom Crowns are the best. That guy's fucking hilarious during those things. Oh, I guess we have a couple of minutes. I was also, just doing my DJ and hunting, but I did see this on Banter today that they have been, I mean, they're sponsored by it, of course, but they are kind of shilling this right now. This is like another one of those Politify kind of spoofs, but it's on Morgan Freeman. The thing is this actually does have it's Mooncoin, the ticker. It gets released tomorrow at 3 p.m. your time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Um, they did have a pre-sale, but I think it's over. Um, the thing about this is it does have some utility because it has an AI function somewhere. It's not like obvious on their website, but apparently it's going to have some kind of AI thing for people to like to help them develop their own coins and stuff like that. Yeah, this kind of stuff. And oh yeah, yeah, that's what it was. Is you were going to be able to I don't PFP create your Morgen PFP, but you were going to be able to create tasks to be able to like gear your little dude up. And then I think that there's also like an AI function for developers that they're gonna come out with or have already like set up to help you. I believe it was to release your own coins. But there's an episode on Banter today where they had like a bunch of it was like five guys that are like meme coin hunters. It was a pretty good show though, but this is the one that they mentioned at the end. So yeah, it's already being advertised and shilled by the biggest shill crypto shill machine that there is and probably ever will be, and it has not been released yet. And that's 1 o'clock p.m. my time. So I'll keep an eye out on Deck Screener for the chart, and we'll see what we see. And it's on Solana too, so it's easy to snap it up. But might be worth it. Like that's one of the better degen um plays that I've seen come out for a while. That's pretty cool. And it is kind of like attached to all of the like Tucker and all those guys. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. 'Cause that might make some gains. And it's Morgan Freeman, bro. Like Morgan Freeman's a dude. All right, so let's see. How did our hourly close? There are signs. Look, this is what happened with the 12-hour earlier. Hell yeah. I was waiting because the 12-hour was just like pointing down, no signs of any kind of cross happening. I'm not saying this is going to play out right away, but this is signs of catching. But this was pointing just like straight down just 2 minutes ago. But the hourly close came, and now we're showing a little bit of a sign of a catch, keeping us inside of this trend. I mean, I think the 2 hour and 3 hour still need to come down a little bit. Yeah, we'll see where it catches. Very likely that, it could still come down into this box past this trend, and we're still good. There's usually some kind of deviation outside of these patterns. It doesn't, yeah, and then you just kind of adjust, right? But this is the pattern we're in. Still a little bit early in the pattern, with enough leverage, you can catch some decent percentages there. But yeah, that 4 hour still needs to come down. The 6 hour. So maybe, Monday morning, it is kind of shaping up to be a little bit of failing a midline there. So yeah, we'll see if this pattern holds. I did post this in the Discord, and again, this is the local. Here's our local support. This is where we're probably going to range for a little while, which would make sense because, we generally start to consolidate within these patterns before it breaks. That's what they're all about. It's a constricting of price. Here's the DCB pattern, the DCB target that we've been looking at for a few days now. Um, so in terms of, being able to give people setups and stuff like that, like this is the best I can do right now, but I feel this is, pretty helpful. Maybe a little bit of a, retest of this trend because it does, I've also noticed that too, is that a lot of times it'll just do real quick little double bounce and then go. I've seen that a few times and it is kind of looking that way. But yeah, I mean, and otherwise, like alts are just kind of bleeding out. Does appear, watch Bitcoin dominance is probably uptrending. Look at that, uptrending for show. So it's the start of the show. The other half of this too, though, is that ETH is due. It's just getting look at the retracement it took. This is compared like that's worse than Bitcoin actually. So it's just kind of getting due. You know what I mean? But yeah, usually the rotations from Bitcoin to ETH, and then we go to like the larger caps to mids, and then after that, usually smaller caps to meme coins. But meme coins just seem to be the priority lately. And look at Brett. Oh, nice. There's another one I'm gonna keep. I did find out what the fuck was about. It was just about like a lot of the people who were like 80% of the supply at the beginning were held by like pre-sale people or like something like that, and just a bunch of FUD came its way. But it's a meme coin. It's at a low price. People are already looking at this like it's a juicy medium rare state. But yeah, yeah, it really is, Ty. It's been getting beat. It's just showed relative weakness compared to like most of the market, not just Bitcoin, but it's been taking a beating for a while. And and that's the thing too, is that, not just lately, but for, past few months, but a lot lately that people are kind of bagging on ETH and ETH is done and ETH is old and blah, 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 blah. And it's when that starts to happen that it's time to start paying attention. But damn. He didn't even like try to finish this pattern, not even close. Just no, I'm gonna dump right now. But when and if, when and if And the weekly is showing that, okay, so yeah, and I'm doing this more to remember, but the weekly is showing that we have some room to the upside, y'all. That monthly is pushing down, but that doesn't mean that this weekly can't get going and get topped out before that monthly continues to go down, right? Like there could be a little bit of a relief pump here. Not quite showing signs of like curving up yet, but it's all the way down here. Look at all the way down there. With the RSI starting to kind of level out. Big money flow still kind of coming down, but still, like that's still looking pretty good. So there's my longer term kind of hope that, this could very well just bottom the hell out for the next few weeks because the saying does go, sell and may go away, right? But um, this point, we're just hoping to push convincingly in a purposeful way over this. So far, we still, this is still a higher low down here, but right now, if we do bounce from here, that would be a significant higher low after making a local higher high. So, if we start to do this, like we actually push, we're going to see some reaction here, but if we start to do this and then confirm over these levels, that's at 63.5. That's when I'm gonna like, okay, maybe we're gonna get like that little alt push, you know what I mean? But I'm still kind of learning how the weekly, how much of an effect that has in the downtrend or any trend for that matter. And so we'll just be keeping track of it, learning as we go. But I think we have a good idea of what's in front of us right now. Um, looks like we're confirming here. So, if you're really trying to scalp something, you might consider this is on the hourly though. The 15 is where at mid, so a little bit of room to go up if it wants to, but it does look like it's going to come down. But, if you catch that bottom, let's just assume it does come down here. That's from here to there. It's like 1.5%. Even on 10x leverage, that's 15% on your money. So if you see it start to confirm here, it might be a long spot. And divergences, nah. It might show up 7 minute maybe. That's normal price action. It's already kind of swooping up like it's gonna catch. This looks a little dumpy. Oh, how's our 1 minute EMAs? That has to be turned out to be a pretty reliable indicator of like, yeah, those aren't even in place. So yeah, I'll probably be watching this a little bit tonight, staying up a tad bit longer, seeing if this crosses over. Although, if we take a nice retrace over the nighttime, New York Stock Exchange Open might be a nice little, be up at, maybe I'll just like, I get up to feed my cats about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll just make sure I check those markets and see what's going on. But yeah, I think that's 3 hours and 9 minutes. Yeah. Getting that grind on. Ty, thank you very much for being here with me. I don't think there's anybody else here with us. Um, but thank you for your everlasting support and how you're always here. I really appreciate it. You always stick it out with me. Um, but we'll get this thing going slowly. But these grinds, this is what it's all about. This is whether there's people here or not. The longer we continue to do this, or at least the longer I continue to do this, the more I learn. And we'll get those people in here and got to get better before I'm even trying to like show people what to do. But think we're at a very good place to teach some people some basics. So far, been pretty dead on balls accurate about what's going on with Bitcoin over the past. I mean, since we started the stream, we've been hyper focused on it even more than usual. The one thing we did miss, and I missed, was as soon as we saw this second peak here, should have been looking for a third. That triple top, triple bottom, that's the cream, baby. But that's why we sit here and do this, right? To learn it. But yeah, Again, I'm Pablo Chuco. Thank you very much. For anybody who happens to watch this, Ty, again, thank you for being here. I'll be here again tomorrow night. I am thinking that I may end up moving this not right away because obviously I'm not taking any viewers from him, but at some point I am gonna have to back the stream up about 2 hours to midnight Eastern time, which would be good, to catch the East Coast late night people and the West Coast, still a little bit on the earlier side. 9 o'clock would be for them, and then also the other side of the world. So, but for now, we'll keep it at 10 o'clock Eastern time. I plan to be here well, most nights. I might miss a night here and there, but we're gonna do this grind every night. That's the plan. I will look at anything for you. Literally, we'll do TA on a coin 2 hours old. I don't care. Just know that it's for entertainment and education purposes. And but we do find that that TA does tend to actually behave the way that it's supposed to, just on a much faster and more extreme scale. But yeah, see you tomorrow. And Savannah, I love you and I miss you. You guys have a great night. Thanks for joining me.